The NBA playoffs, round one, it's in full swing. We've already seen so much chaos. It hasn't even been a week. It's only been 2 games for most of these series, 1 game for a lot of them, and we've already seen just an absurd amount of chaos. Today we're going to go over some stuff. We're going to go over a talking point that I just cannot stand. I absolutely can't stand it. And I'm also going to take a look and determine which fan base is enduring the most chaos right now. Which fan base is exploding the most? The answer might surprise you. I'm thinking about doing a video like this every day. Let me know if you guys are interested. Just talking about the games that happened the night before and stuff like that, right? I just think it's a good way to get some thoughts across that maybe I didn't mention in a stream. Oh, hey, speaking of streaming, quick programming alert, guys. Adam Silver is trying to strike me down. He's trying to kill me. No, I'm just kidding. But my Warriors and Kings stream from a few nights ago did receive a copyright strike. Why? I don't know. I didn't do anything on that stream. I don't usually do, which is very alarming and concerning to me because that means I've been getting away with a lot. But no, so I do have a copyright strike on this channel, which is a pretty big fucking deal. And unfortunately, I'm going to lay low for a little bit while the block is still hot, and I'm not going to stream on YouTube. But that does not mean I'm not streaming at all. NBA University, if you're on NBA Twitter, you know who this is. He's been kind enough to let me use his platform over on Playback to stream the Lakers and Grizzlies game tonight. So I will be on NBA University's Playback page tonight streaming that game. I'll put the link down in the description. You guys can sign up. It's a legitimately cool platform, right? Some of you have asked me about it. Some of you have asked me about streaming on there before. It's if you watch the games legally, if you have an NBA TV subscription, if you have a DirecTV subscription, whatever it is, you can sync it up with your account and we can watch the games together essentially. So I will be on the screen, the game will be on the screen. So it's a fun little thing, right? I'll be streaming on that account. The link will be down in the description. Make sure you come in and check it out. It'll be a fun time. And you know, Adam Silver, please show mercy on me. Please. I just think these videos are a good way to just talk about some of the stuff going on and mainly some of the narratives, right? Because that's the one thing about NBA playoffs more than any other sport, right? We overreact to one game. I think it's because there's 2 to 3 days in between games. I don't know what it is, but God, the overreactions are just absolutely insane. And I want to get to one of the takes that was going around mainly a few days ago, right? Because the Cavaliers and Knicks played last night. The Cavs just completely dominated New York. I mean, it was an evisceration. The Cavs had the series, but the Knicks did what they needed to do, right? If you're the road team going into a series, right? If you're the underdog going into a series, your goal in those first 2 games, let's win one, let's steal home court advantage, and that's exactly what the Knicks did. And in game 1, Jalen Brunson was incredible, right? He was in foul trouble the entire first half, but once he played more in the second half, he went absolutely nuts. I think he had 27 points total, most of those points coming in the third and fourth quarter, and he completely and totally closed the game and outplayed Donovan Mitchell down the stretch. And of course, anytime Jalen Brunson does anything, the takes are just absolutely crazy in regards to him leaving the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic. And it's always the, oh my God, Luka Doncic did not get the most out of Jalen Brunson. Oh, Jalen Brunson couldn't do this next to Luka Doncic, huh? Like these takes are so brain dead for so many different reasons. I've already addressed them so many times, right? Of course, you have the fact that last postseason, Jalen Brunson had a higher usage rate than Jaylen Brown. Wow, that's crazy. I thought Luka didn't know how to use him. Or how about the fact that those two together made the Western Conference Finals a year ago? Like anybody who's saying this, you guys do realize they were a Final Four team just a season ago. Like that happened. That was a real world thing that happened. Are you guys aware of that? All of these takes are just so brain dead. And I've seen them too with Mikal Bridges, right? Because Mikal Bridges has been going crazy since the trade. He had a great game 1 against the Sixers. Great first half of game 1, I guess. It was kind of quiet in game 2. But I still see those things all the time. Like, oh my God, Devin Booker. Like, it's mainly Mavericks fans who are being salty. But it's like, oh my God, Devin Booker couldn't get the most out of Mikal Bridges. You know, these takes are like toddler brain takes, right? And they're all over the place. Toddler brain takes are all over the place on Twitter. I think it's time we if people want to have toddler brain takes and behave like toddlers, it's time that we act like, we treat them like it. So we're going to try to make this as easy as possible for the toddlers over on NBA Twitter, okay? Hey, little fella. Hey there, little guy. Hey, listen, when a player leave a team and go to new team, he get ball more. Can you say he get ball more? Yeah, good job. And when a player gets ball more, he shoot more. And when players shoot more, he score more. He score more points. Can you say more points? Wow, great job. I mean, these fucking idiots, man. It's like, yes, the NBA is absurdly talented. So when a player leaves a team, goes to a new team, gets a bigger role, guess what? His numbers improve. His stuff, it's the Paul Millsap effect. I've talked about this before on this channel. It's the Paul Millsap doctorate, I think is what it's called. Somebody did the research on this years ago, that if a player's usage rate goes up, more often than not, his stats will go up. His efficiency will stay the same. His stats will go up. That's why per 75 stats, like a legit good barometer of how good a player could be. So I hate these takes. They're so dumb to me. It's like, yes, obviously, Mikal Bridges leaving a team where he's the third or fourth option, going to a team where he's the first option. Guess what? Yeah, he's going to score more points. He's going to do more things. Jalen Brunson leaving a team where there's already an uber ball dominant point guard who's one of the greatest offensive engines we've seen over the last decade. He goes to a team where he has the ball in his hands more. Guess what? He's going to do more. This isn't some crazy shit. This isn't some unheard of thing. This is very common. And guess what? The league's very talented. Okay, the last day of the season, Theo Pinson had a triple-double. Okay, Peyton Pritchard had a 30-point triple-double. Kenneth Lofton Jr. had 40-plus points. Okay, this league is crazy, crazy talented. And I think it's interesting, too. The Athletic released a little poll a couple days ago, and one of the big players voted on it. And one of the biggest problems players think there is in the league is that there's not enough teams. There's not enough teams to showcase the talent around the league, and you have guys who aren't in big enough roles, and once they get big enough roles, their numbers are going to go up. This isn't some crazy thing, and I hate that it floats around every time Brunson does anything, or even Mikal does anything. It's just so stupid to me. I just had to get that off my chest. But really, my favorite thing, if you guys watch my streams, you know, one of my favorite parts about the postseason, I just like watching the fan bases melt down. I thrive off of it. I love negativity. I don't know what it is. I'm just a negative person, I guess. I absolutely adore it. So I peruse after every game. I peruse the losing team subreddit. I try to figure out which fan base is exploding the most right now. Which fan base is it? You have the Warriors, who are down 0-2. Draymond Green suspended for game 3. Was it warranted? I don't know. Right? Yes, I believe so. I mean, Draymond Green, he's not new to this. This is what he does. Their subreddit, to me, was nowhere near as fun as I thought it could be, just because it's constant complaining and bitching about the officiating, which is not fun to me. I like when teams are turning. I like when fan bases are turning on their team. They're turning on players on their team. That's what's fun to me, right? The Timberwolves subreddit. They got destroyed in game 1 against the Nuggets. Granted, how many people thought they really had a chance against Denver? Some people thought that series could get spooky. I had Denver winning at 6, so I thought that they would test them a little bit, but they got completely outclassed in game 1. And that subreddit is a little bit of a hellhole right now. Like, you have the fan base sort of turning on Cat. This was something that was happening over time. And now an ugly playoff performance, 2 games after a really ugly play-in performance, it's starting to rear its ugly head a little bit. It also doesn't help. Karl Anthony Towns, 4 of his last 7 playoff games, he's had under 20 points. And he's had 3 or more turnovers in 6 of his last 7 playoff games, 4 or more turnovers in 5 of his last 7. So he's been an absolute disaster in the playoffs the last couple of years. And Timberwolves fans, they're starting to ask some questions, but that's not the worst. In my opinion, the worst, the most toxic fan base right now, the fan base that's going through it the worst, has to be the Atlanta Hawks to me, just by their subreddit alone. It's an absolute disaster. And it's a little bit surprising to me because, yeah, the Celtics we're going to shit on Atlanta. Like, what did anybody expect? You know, like, sure, maybe Trey gets hot for a game, or maybe DeJounte gets hot for a game and they steal 1, but that series was never going to be competitive. But I think it's the way it's happening. I think it's the fact that Trae Young is once again looking like complete and total dog meat in a playoff series that really has Atlanta Hawks fans worried. And now people are starting to turn on him a little bit, and questions are starting to get asked. Like, is it even possible to win with this guy as a focal point on your roster? Do we need to move on? Do we need to trade him while value is high? Or what's the deal here? Over Trae Young's last 7 playoff games, he has more turnovers than field goals made. That is a crazy, crazy stat. I'll cut him a little bit of slack because the Heat defense was absolutely no joke last year, and the Celtics defense this year is absolutely no joke. And he's getting hounded by Derek White, who's going to make an all-defensive team, and who has been the best player in this series. Like, Derek White has, without a doubt, been the best player in the series. 25 points per game, 5 blocks for the first 2 games, 62% from the field, and 55% from 3. And he's absolutely clamping up Trae Young, who has been in a federal penitentiary so far to start this season, or this series, I'm sorry. And you go back, you take out that Knicks series, right, where Trae Young was amazing. He was this villain. Oh my God, Trae Young is the next big villain of the NBA. This is incredible what he's doing, and it was absolutely incredible. You take out that series, he's been, I don't even want to say bad. He's been atrocious in the playoffs, especially for a star-level player, okay? Some guys, you're going to have playoff risers. You're going to have playoff fallers. That happens, right? But at this level, the amount of drop-off we see in the playoffs for Trae is very, very alarming. And it does raise the question, like, what is Trae on a contending team? Like a real-life contending team. Not like a, oh, my God, we made the conference finals team. Like we are in perennial championship discussions, right? What's his role? Is it the number 1? Is it the number 2? Is it the number 3? Like, how far do we have to go? Because, yes, the regular season numbers are great. They're absolutely phenomenal for Trae Young. And Hawks fans will always bring up all of these guards. You see it all the time, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Donovan Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, blah, 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 blah. These guys are not better than Trae Young. I hate the top. And then we get to the playoffs, and it's like, what is happening here? What is going on? So because the fan base seems to be slowly turning on Trae Young, to me, they are the most toxic subreddit right now. They are the most fun subreddit, just from an outsider's perspective, as somebody who thrives off this kind of stuff. They are the best subreddit to browse. Now, if the Suns dropped game 2 last night, that answer would have been much different, because that subreddit was prepared for explosion, but they did pull that game out. Congratulations to the Suns, whatever, fuck them. Anyways, yeah, I'll be on playback tonight for not the Mavericks, for the Grizzlies and the Lakers over on NBA University's playback channel. I'll link that down in the description. Make sure you guys are there. Toodaloo.